Welcome back to another Health Hackers review video. This one is all about the WEO bottle. The makers suggest the water you drink from this bottle enhances physical performance, cognitive function, and skin health. You fill it with filtered water, then activate technology inside to apparently electrolyze your water, using electricity to create a molecular level chemical reaction, leaving you with what's described as a completely new water, freshly restructured with antioxidant properties and over 200 new biospecies that impact health and wellness. In other words, or my words, the WEO bottle is meant to do something super duper to your drinking water, which in turn is supposed to improve your wellness in ways that might surprise you. In this video, as well as telling you what I like and what I don't like about my experience with WEO, I'm going to show you my interview with the company's Chief Health Officer, Dr. Kelly Halderman, who told me about all kinds of alleged potential benefits linked to drinking WEO water, including improvements in exercise performance, metabolic health, skin health, gut health, sleep quality, lowering body fat, and more. But first, if you're new to the Health Hackers channel, hello, I'm Gemma. I'm a journalist. I make honest review videos about wellness innovations, and I interview pioneering people in health. If you enjoy this video, I'd love it if you hit the like button or even subscribe and leave me a comment below. I take pride in being transparent with you, so you should know that I was sent the WEO bottle for free, which is why you saw the paid promotions notification at the beginning of this video. If you see a discount code to buy a WEO bottle in the summary text that goes with this video, please know that using that code means I will receive an amount at no extra cost to you. Remember, my reviews represent good faith and honest opinion. There'll also be a link in the video description where you can find out more about my affiliate arrangements and how I work. As always, anything on Health Hackers should not be considered personal or medical advice. Talk to your healthcare providers about you. On with the product review now. So here's how my bottle arrived. Neatly wrapped with a QR code, ready to scan and get set up with the WEO app. The bottle is made of glass, and that white central segment you can see inside is called the WEO module. It effectively forms the base of the bottle. That's where the electronics are. The bottle can hold about 650 millilitres or 22 ounces of water. It's recommended you only use filtered water with at least 200 millilitres in the bottle to cover the module when it's electrolyzing. Otherwise, there's apparently a risk of damaging the electronics. I received a silicone sleeve with my package, but looking at the website, it seems the sleeves are typically sold separately from the bottle, and buying a sleeve is strongly recommended for additional protection for the glass. Ahead of my using the bottle for the first time, here it is, running a self-cleaning cycle for the module. However, the glass along with the lid are both dishwasher safe. Now here's what the electrolyzing process looks like. A double click on the button at the base, or you can trigger it using the WEO app, and there it goes. A slow pulsing light at the base, a faint whirring sound, and some tiny bubbles appearing in the water. It takes 30 seconds. The technology inside reportedly uses electrolysis with diamond and boron-coated electrodes to restructure the water, supposedly turning it into an antioxidant-rich liquid with a multitude of purported health benefits. Obviously, I wanted to understand more about that. I'm going to show you my interview with Dr. Kelly Halderman now. She's WEO's Chief Health Officer. We spoke for around 20 minutes and covered aspects including the electrolysis process, the reported positive health effects, the research, as well as Dr. Kelly's personal experience with WEO water, how long she's been drinking it, and what effects she attributes to it. I will then see you on the other side of this interview with a roundup of my likes and dislikes about my WEO experience. When I'm looking at the WEO website and I'm reading that the technology in the WEO bottle uses electrolysis with diamond and boron-coated electrodes to electrolyze the water you pour into it, and I'm thinking, well, that sounds impressive, but what does it mean, and how does all that make my water better for me?
Right. And that's what everybody wants to know, right? I mean, the technology piece is great. And don't get me wrong, I love technology, but what can it do for us, right? When we're drinking this water that has been electrolyzed, what are the health benefits that we can expect? And so being a doctor, I look to literature, I look to published literature, I look to research, right? Research, not opinions. I mean, opinions are great and we get a ton of great feedback, but what I'm really looking for are proven results. And so when you are pouring water into the bottle and you are pressing the button and you are electrolyzing your water, what is happening is that it's restructuring your water. And I really preface it like this. We are told over and over again that we're supposed to eat non-processed foods, right? I mean, everybody knows that. Probably even your toddler knows that, right? That foods that are in their natural state are better for us. And so I think of the water as restoring the natural, unprocessed properties of water, because we drink water from bottles, or we use reverse osmosis, or we use distilled water, or water from the tap, although that has some toxins in it and things, but we use this water. And even those methods such as reverse osmosis that take out toxins, what happens is that you're left with the dead water. So think of water that's in nature, that's flowing through streams. What that has is a crystalline structure. And that is really the water that our body accepts as unprocessed. Our body knows what to do with it. It hydrates our cells better. It really helps us globally. Every cell in our body will work better when it's hydrated. But what we bring then with the electrolysis is we are not only restructuring it, we're creating other biomolecules. So there's molecules that you can't see in your water, but they positively impact your health. And one of those is dissolved oxygen, and the other one is molecular hydrogen. And now we have 200 bioactive elements, and our team of scientists and researchers, we're looking at those elements and those bioactives every day, and we're making discoveries. And so we're really excited about not only the technology and what it can do today, but learning more about the properties of water after we're augmenting it.
So the electrolysis is changing the water at a cellular level or molecular level?
So water in of itself doesn't have cells. So
Okay.
we are, we're made of cells. Our organs are made of cells. Our tissues are made of cells, right? So water is H2O. So it's two hydrogen and oxygen. We've kind of learned that in biology class. But what we're doing is that we are restructuring all those water molecules. The way that they're structured in water, which we cannot see, unfortunately, that structure really matters. And so restructuring, feeding your cells structured water, feeding your cells that water that has been restored that property of being more balanced and being more akin to, again, what we find in nature. That's where that positive effect on our cells happens. And also, we are actually with electrolysis. You hear that word electricity. So energy, think energy. We are energizing the water. We've shown with atomic force microscopy studies that we have energetics of water are they're so high compared to regular water. And so I think of that again as your cells run on energy. That's why we eat food, is to get electrons. We do things in nature. We go outside, we take our shoes off, we earth, the sun, it's all electrons, and that's nourishing our body. That is present in WEO water.
And so by drinking WEO water daily, what benefits should somebody start to feel or notice, and in what time frame?
Yeah, that's a great question. So based on our internal studies where we've had tons of people who are in-home users, it's about 2 weeks that people can notice something. Now, the something comes down to what is their problem. Now, are they a person who has headaches? Do they have fatigue? Do they have skin irritations? There's so many different issues. And so the water, I think of it as it's going to do what your body needs it to do, and your body knows what to do. So we're not treating any disease with water, just like when you're earthing or when you're out in nature, you're not trying to literally put the electrons in one area of your body. They're going to go where they're needed the most. And that's where we see all kinds of positive effects. We have published literature on improving exercise performance, improving VO2 max, decreasing lactate, helping with metabolic health. So lowering insulin levels, lowering triglyceride levels, lowering body fat in those who need to lose body fat. We have data on skin health, wrinkles, because, really that the oxidants in our body, think of like inflammation, they really they chew up our body. They really cause damage. And so of course our collagen and mostly in our face, because of also sun damage, that really is affected positively by antioxidants, and our water is an antioxidant water. So again, it's really the effect will come where I think people have the weakness. We also help with gut health. We have a lowered ORP, which is an oxidative reductive potential, but just think of it as more electrons into the body. So those actually feed the good bacteria in our gut. And a lot of people's issues, they stem from gut problems. And so really reestablishing that microbiome with that lowered ORP can really be helpful in so many other ways too.
How long have you been drinking WEO's electrolyzed water, and what effects have you seen personally?
Yeah, so I've been drinking it for, it'll be a year next month. So what I've seen, and I always tell people I'm an objective person, meaning subjective is nice. Like I feel better, or I think I'm sleeping better, but I'm an objective person. I'm a skeptic by nature, a cynic by nature. So I track my data, my personal data with my Aura ring, or you can use an Apple Watch, or you can use a Whoop strap. You can use anything you want. But what I've seen with my objective data is that my HRV has gone up. For people who don't know what HRV is, it's heart rate variability. And really, I think of it as the global measure of how your body's doing. It's really a measure of your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. But globally, I think it's a good measure of just how you're doing. Whenever I start any new nutritional program, supplement, anything, I want to know, is it improving my HRV? Because then I know it's good for me, right? That's personalized medicine. And I also have noticed, because again track my sleep, is that I'm getting more restorative sleep. And I really think too, that's a measure of decreasing the inflammation in my body. I don't have any really other symptoms. I didn't have headaches or anything like that, but I've noticed my gut functions a lot better. So those are like the three main areas that I've seen improvement in.
That's really interesting. Have you ever come across somebody who has begun getting headaches when they started drinking the water?
No, I haven't come across that, but I have come across people who say, I'm using the restroom more, so I'm urinating more, or I'm using, going number 2 more, right? So I'm defecating more. And I just personally think it's probably your body's just cleaning house. Like it's finally getting that flush in there. And it's like, okay, time to get some toxins out. That's what I think is from my experience. But really, if you have any concerns about drinking an electrolyzed water, you can talk to your doctor. I think that's really smart to just run it by them. Again, it's water. One of the bioactive molecules in it, hydrogen, is actually in the generally recognized as safe. So it's a safe category of like a bioelement. So really, I think that the moral of the story is that, it's positive. And if you do have like concerns of, I got headaches, stop it, just stop the water and then, re-implement it and see if at a lower amount per day that could make that go away.
Got it. I only asked about headaches because I think a day or so after I started drinking from the bottle, I had some unexplained headaches for a couple of days, but it's all good now. About the scientific studies, my understanding is that you have conducted a few, and looking at the effects of drinking WEO water, I was able to find reference to a few online that were studies on mice. Have you been able to do trials on humans yet?
Yes, so we did 2 in-home use trials with hundreds of users, and that was in 2019 when we had the technology that we could actually use it with humans, and then we recently repeated it again in 2023. So we had a much larger cohort of people who were actively using the water, and again we saw improvements about within 2 weeks, and they range from decreased pain, joint pain, bodily pain, digestive energy. They felt like they had better brain function. And we have done, like you said, we did those in vivo trials where we've seen things like positive effects on metabolic health. And then the next step naturally for a company is to do the bigger clinical trials, like partner with research organizations and do those large scale. And so those are in process and we're looking to set those up. So we're really like, we have everything that we need, and it's a go because of all the robust research that we have in vitro and vivo, and now, looking at that, all the other data. So we're moving forward swiftly.
You mentioned metabolic health effects. So something like blood glucose dysregulation, is it your view that WEO water because it becomes, how you explained it, a kind of antioxidant-rich water, that then has an anti-inflammatory effect, and that helps regulate blood glucose? How would that work in theory?
You know, sometimes when we're seeing an effect, an outcome, sometimes the mechanism of action is unknown. We have drugs on the market where we know that they do a really good thing, but we're not exactly sure how they work, but they're safe, right? And so that's, again, with some of the hypothesis or the theories of what's going on. Yes, what you said, yes, yes, and yes. We are an antioxidant water. We activate the endogenous antioxidant pathways in your body, meaning when you're drinking WEO water, you are turning on your own ability to make glutathione, superoxide dismutase, and catalase. You're naturally making those. And so, yes, there is an inflammatory component to probably blood glucose regulation. I mean, it's multifactorial, right? But really lowering that inflammation, that oxidative stress, that just really helps the body to function properly.
And is there anyone who should not drink WEO water?
You know, really, I think that's a question that I get a lot, and I honestly don't know who would not benefit from WEO water. Again, we are such a hypohydrated society. Their studies show that upwards of 70% of us walk around dehydrated. So just the hydration aspect of this water, it's like, you know, when I was in clinical practices, if I could get people to just simply start to try and hydrate with just the best water that they could find, they did better, right? Because there's piles of medical peer-reviewed published literature that show your cells work better. They process glucose better. Your brain works better. Everything works better when it's hydrated. So I think that kind of goes back to, you know, looking at, now we're going to have a water that nothing is added to it. Nothing, we're not changing the pH. We're not doing anything, you know, anything but adding energy, adding electrons, splitting the water molecule. I mean, water is so amazing. We know so little about it. So, you know, again, if you're wondering if this is not right for you, or just ask your doctor. Really, there's all of our literatures on our website. Doctors are completely comfortable with going through it and looking through it. I mean, a lot of people will just intuitively think, okay, that, you know, this is water. But really, if you have any concerns, like, I'm not your doctor, you know, you should just put in a message to your doctor, tell them that this is a water that has been treated with electrolysis. There's nothing different in it. It's just some of the molecules are restructured and some biomolecules are created. So I think that's a smart move.
I know you said that nothing is added to the water, but I like to add some sugar-free electrolytes to my water most days if I'm working out or if it's hot. I'm also breastfeeding, so I like to drink a lot. Would you say that I should not add anything to it in order to maintain its exact state, or does it just really not matter?
No, the only thing that we caution is that from a physics perspective, when you heat things, so if you're going to be making a hot tea, probably don't get it too hot, because then you just start to evaporate off some of the biomolecules. I mean, we have a capability to really keep those around, but I will add protein mixes to my water. I'll cook with my water, like my WEO water, like I'll put in electrolytes too. So I find that to be completely fine.
Something that has not really appealed to me since I started this experience with the WEO is using the app to set hydration goals and then track how much water I drink each day. It's just not something I felt the urge to do, but my interest in this product is really all about what it can potentially be doing to my water. So would you say that I am missing out on a major part of what the WEO bottle experience should be? And would you recommend that if someone is watching this and is interested in buying a WEO bottle, then they really should use the app to track as they drink?
Well, I will say this, is that some people are app people and some people are not. Some people are trackers, right? Like really, really into tracking, and some people are not, and they got it. And they're going to drink their 2 or 3 bottles a day and they're going to be good. I think that they should take advantage of it if it serves them. If it's something that reminds them and they needed the reminder to drink the water, they needed that push to get their levels where they need to be. So just let it do what you want it to do for you. I don't think that you're necessarily missing out. However, what we have planned is that we're going to integrate with wearables. So you'll be able to have your objective data integrate with your WEO app to tell you, like Gemma, when you drank your 3 bottles yesterday, or last week, did you notice how your heart rate went down a little bit, and your HRV went up and you slept better, right? So that's where I think there's that positive, of the experience. It's like, okay, if you're going to integrate that in, that's really good data to really know that you're not wasting your time. You didn't waste your money. Look what you did for your health. But again, I think kind of go back to your question about, are you missing out right now? I mean, it is for, some people, it's not for everyone. Some days I completely ignore my WEO app and, just ignore the notifications and just keep going. But on the app too, you'll be able to clean your bottle. So you won't have to clean it. You just hit the clean on your WEO app and it cleans itself, right? So that's a nice function in there. And then again, it'll keep track of your battery life and all of that on the app too.
So in terms of the benefits that you mentioned earlier, it feels almost endless. You've had reports of better sleep or deeper sleep, better quality sleep, improved heart rate variability. You mentioned skin health, energy and workouts, potential blood sugar regulation. Anything else?
We have some in vitro data that suggests that our WEO water helps to balance the immune system. And we can go off the published literature that shows that when you decrease inflammation, which we are 1,000% an antioxidant water, that you do improve your immune system because it just works better when you're in a lower lower your inflammatory load, that your immune system works better. So I think of that benefit as well.
Do you feel like one of the biggest challenges for you and WEO is that because it is such a safe and familiar product, like water is the safe and familiar product to all of us, do you feel like your biggest challenge is convincing people that you've restructured it, that this could potentially have benefits? Is that hard to do?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. It's, it's kind of like Wi-Fi. It's like, it's in the air, or my cell phone works, but I can't see it, but I know it works. So it is a little bit hard to try and convince people. So that is why we rely so heavily on our high level research. We partner with University of Michigan, University of South Florida, and what we're using is atomic force microscopy, Kelvin force microscopy, really quantum physics to show people the energetics of our water compared to regular water, show the bioactive species compared to regular water, because I don't want to ever convince someone based on, again, anecdotes. It's like, I love data. And so I can show people, and I'm actually at a conference right now. This is a hotel room that I'm speaking at tomorrow, and I'll be showing slides that are based on this data that is irrefutable. It's like, this is our water, and this is the unfiltered, water, and this is the energetics of it. And so I can show people that.
Yeah, and there will be viewers watching this who, like you, love data. Where can we direct them to go to read more about the process that is carried out inside the WEO bottle?
You can go to we-o.com, and we have those the atomic force microscopy on there. We have, again, that Kelvin force microscopy. So we have all that data that's on there that has been done by us on our water.
Great, including the studies that you mentioned, the human trials too?
All on there, yep.
About the research, I will put a link to the science page I found on WEO's website in the summary text that goes with this video. I'm going to mention more on that in a moment because it's time to round up my likes and dislikes about my experience with WEO. I have been drinking WEO water for about 3.5 weeks now, and I'm going to begin with my dislikes. Firstly, I still feel like I don't fully understand what's going on inside the bottle when my water is said to be electrolyzing. I'm not an expert in biotechnology or water conditioning, so for me as a consumer, this feels like a device that I either decide to believe in or I don't, and I would like to believe in it. Secondly, I haven't noticed significant health benefits or changes that I could comfortably attribute to drinking WEO water in the 3.5 weeks that I've been drinking it. However, there's some high praise among the review comments on the bottle's shopping page. So right now, I am continuing to drink WEO water. Next, at the start of my experience with the bottle, I felt like I really wanted to know more about the variety of claimed health benefits from drinking WEO water in a really easy to get my head around way. There is information on the website, but in our interview, Dr. Kelly suggested that it comes down to what a person's problem is. She said the water is going to do what your body needs it to do. That point in itself, along with other aspects she mentioned about exercise performance, insulin levels, triglycerides, body fat, skin health and gut health, would have been interesting for me to see listed simply and prominently on the app or on the shopping page where you buy the WEO bottle. About the science page on the WEO website, some of the references listed are internal studies. WEO explained to me that, as a biotech company, WEO combines internal studies, brackets, results are not public as they are used for R&D, future publications and patents, close brackets, and public published scientific literature. I was informed that the company is in the process of getting its first peer-reviewed studies published, and I would need to sign a non-disclosure agreement for WEO to release internal research findings for me to see. But my understanding is that even though the internal studies aren't currently public, the expected release of initial peer-reviewed studies should change that. Next, I haven't used the app much. I don't feel an urge to track the amounts of water I drink each day. Additionally, my app seems to struggle to automatically reconnect with my bottle when I'm close to it. I often have to press the button on the bottle to link the two. The sleeve. The sleeve is pretty and protective, but I find getting it onto the bottle a hassle. Also, I noticed what looked like mold on the inside of the sleeve after my first couple of weeks. That is not something I'm blaming WEO for. This is more of a note to self about washing the sleeve frequently if I'm going to use it. Next, a couple of times I found water around the base of the bottle that looked like leaking. I can only assume possibly caused by the bottle not being screwed securely enough to the base. So that is something I am mindful of now. Finally, this didn't bother me, but I feel it's worth mentioning here. WEO says the bottle should not be placed in the fridge. Apparently it can impact the performance of the batteries in the module. Now let's talk about my likes. Firstly, the alleged powerful health benefits of drinking WEO water. Now, I know I just told you a moment ago that I have not noticed significant positive changes to my health since I started drinking WEO water 3.5 weeks ago. However, I like the sound of the purported benefits Dr. Kelly spoke of in our interview and the claims outlined on the WEO website. Improving exercise performance, promoting healthy aging, immune function, positive effects on skin health, metabolic health, and more. WEO told me the company is in the process of getting its first peer-reviewed studies published. So it will be interesting to see what comes out. Essentially, my biggest like about this bottle is that I like to think it's doing something positive for my health. Secondly, the website shows the WEO bottle is NSF approved, outlining that the product does not leach impurities or other substances that negatively impact the quality, taste, and aesthetics of water. I like the look of the bottle. It feels quite sophisticated, high quality with a clean, non-fussy design. The main bottle section is glass and it's a manageable size, holding 22 ounces. The setup was smooth, the electrolyzing process is easy to activate, and the module part of the bottle has a self-cleaning capability. In terms of battery life, it says online it has USB charging with up to 5 days of battery life. I found I can go for longer than that before needing a recharge. For example, I charged it to 100% on a Monday and didn't need to charge it up again until the following Sunday. And I'm using it multiple times most days. Next, the bottle is said to have 4,600 electrolysis cycles. So if I use it 4 times a day, it should last me more than 3 years. My final point in this list of positives is really a nod to WEO's wider mark. There is an entity called WEO Foundation, which is described as the non-profit arm of WEO Water. It says it is funding the next generation of water research, which will reveal how healthy water can improve the vitality of plants, animals, and people. I noticed among the information that came with my WEO bottle delivery, it says for each bottle purchase, WEO funds the water research and education that is vital for our future. I appreciate this isn't a comment about my personal experience with the bottle, but I think public-facing conscientious intentions are worth a mention. So that is it for my likes and dislikes. Before I go, I want to flag the cost. The WEO bottle is currently listed as $219 on its shopping page. That does sound like a lot of money for a bottle. But if it lasts for more than 3 years, and if someone positively experiences health benefits claimed to be linked to drinking WEO water, it would make it harder to determine whether $219 is considered too expensive. As is often the case, affordability comes down to priorities and personal circumstances. Thank you for watching this episode. If you found it interesting or useful, I would love it if you hit the like button or subscribe and leave me a comment below. It means a lot to me when you support my work and give feedback in that way. Remember, if you see a discount code to buy a WEO bottle in the summary text that goes with this video, please know that using the code means I will receive an amount at no extra cost to you. Remember, my reviews represent good faith and honest opinion. That's it. Bye-bye.